Hey, I just wanted to take a minute to talk to you about HOAs and investigating an HOA during the inspection period when you are purchasing a home, because HOAs are really prevalent in Arizona, more so than in so many other parts of the country. So if you're new to Arizona or not, chances are that when you are purchasing a home, unless you're looking specifically for properties that don't have an HOA, you will be purchasing a property in an HOA. And there are all different kinds of HOAs that are here. So there can be HOAs that are extremely restrictive, that have a lot of rules, that have a lot of fees. Maybe they have a lot of benefits, community pools, gyms, fitness centers, whatever, you name it. Then there's also HOAs that are not really very restrictive, and for the most part they have low fees, and maybe they just maintain the sign out front, the community sign, and do a little bit of general maintenance here and there, some basic restrictions to kind of keep everybody on the same page in the community. So there's a zillion different kinds of HOAs, HOA restrictions, different things that can happen with an HOA. But if you are buying a property that is in an HOA, it is your responsibility as the buyer to investigate that HOA and to determine if you are comfortable with the covenants and restrictions or the rules of the HOA before the inspection period elapses. So however long of an inspection period you negotiated with the seller when you went under contract, that's how long you have to investigate and to inspect the property. However, with the HOA in Arizona, it's a little bit different. So because the HOAs around here are so prevalent, we actually have a separate addendum. It's an HOA addendum to our contract, okay? And it has a different time period for investigating the HOA than the normal inspection period. So the inspection period covers you having a home inspection, having a roof inspection, doing all different kinds of investigating, which we'll talk about and we'll get into in other videos and I've talked about previously. The HOA has a different time period. So you have 5 days. The typical inspection period for houses, unless negotiated otherwise, is typically 10 days. For the HOA, you have 5 days from the point in time in which the information is provided. So at some point in the process, and it's never necessarily at exactly the same time because we're relying on third parties. So HOA management companies, it really depends on the size of the HOA. If there's more than 50 properties, there's some variables there that kind of determine that. But at the point in time in which HOA documents, the CC&Rs, the information about the HOA is disclosed to you as the buyer, you have 5 days to read those documents and to disapprove of any of the information that is provided in those documents. So if the HOA documents say that you cannot park RVs, for example, in your driveway, but you own an RV and you were planning on parking your RV in your driveway, you have 5 days to disapprove of that. Otherwise, you're going to be renting a storage unit for your RV because you cannot then cancel that contract because you disapprove of that particular point in the community rules for the HOA. So it's very important once you get those. Now, how will you know when you get them? And this is a very important point that I share with other realtors as well. But it's very important to know that when you get the HOA documents, you may have them sent to you by the HOA management company. However, a lot of people don't know that they're actually disclosed to the buyer along with the title commitment. So when the title company sends the title commitment to the borrower, and to the to the buyer and to the buyer's agent. The title commitment, usually in Schedule B, will have little blue links, and those links will hyperlink to the recorded CC&Rs for that HOA that is specific to that property. And the buyer has the opportunity to click on those links, follow it to the link, and to read the CC&R. So technically, at the point of time that you receive the title commitment from the title company, that also starts the clock ticking on your 5 days that you have to investigate the HOA. So you want to make sure that you read through those documents. I've even had, crazy situations to a point where some HOA bylaws required certain levels of insurance, and that level of insurance was not available for insurance companies. And so we had to engage a really great insurance broker to work with some underwriters, and to go back and kind of work through all of that because of the way that those the CC&Rs were written when the HOA was incepted. So it's very important to read through that, and to make sure that you have high level of communication with your agent once those are disclosed to you as a buyer. So, I could go on about this for even longer. There's always so many different situations and scenarios that can come up. For example, just like that insurance thing, that's, rare. It doesn't come up on every home, certainly, but if it's not that, maybe it's something else. And that's why it's really important to make sure that, you're working with somebody who knows what they're doing and can help you work through those. And even get an extension. In that particular case, we had to get an extension to the inspection period for the HOA so that we could work with the insurance broker to work through that. So make sure you're working with somebody who knows what they're doing, make sure that you're getting good guidance, and make sure that you are reading. Have an awesome day.